Okay, we are at the top of page 13 in your Unit 8 pink note packet, and we're going to do some practice problems now. So we already finished the notes on pages 12 and 14. As you can see here, I've written in invisible ones for us so that quadratic, remember, format ax squared plus bx plus c. So we're looking at that a value. If we just have an a value that's 1 or a no number a value, that tells us that we don't have to use the box. We're just going to use the diamond. So we're saying what's going to multiply to our c, so 25, and what's going to add to negative 10. 25, I can break into 1 times 25 or 5 times 5. Well, I know 1 times 25 definitely won't work, so let's try to work around the 5 times 5. And I need to somehow get it to multiply to a positive but add to a negative. So ding, 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 that means they both need to be negative values. So I'm going to have a negative 5 times a negative 5. And I know that negative 5 plus negative 5 equals negative 10. So I know I have the right values. So I'm going to end up with negative 5, negative 5. So I do my parentheses sets, and I put my x in the front of both, and now I just transfer those quantities down. We're going to skip C for now. We'll come back to it if we've got time. But now what we're going to look at is letter D. We actually have to remember we have a b value. It's just not something we can see. Invisible math again. We actually have x squared plus 0x minus 4. So what I'm saying is what is going to multiply to a negative 4 but add to 0? Since I'm multiplying and I should get a negative, I know I'm going to have one positive factor and one negative factor. So I've got 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. Well, if I have a positive and negative, I know that these values will cancel each other out. Negative 2 times a positive 2 would give me negative 4, but negative 2 plus 2 gives me 0. So I know I'm good to go there. I've got negative 2 and positive 2, and I do the same thing I did before. I'm just really focusing on minus 2 plus 2. Now, before we move on to the bottom and really talk about these problems, we need to remember the difference is above has an a value that equals 1. Down here, we don't, so we're going to need to set up those boxes. And we also know that we're actually multiplying a times c here. So our value in the top is going to be 63. Our value in the bottom is just the b, so we get 24. So what we're breaking down is that 63. I've got 1 times 63. I've got 3 times 21. And I've got 7 times 9. I know I can work with the 3 and the 21. And like we did before, we've got the yellows, both go here. And then we also have our C value that fills that in. So we end up with 3x squared, and then plus 3x plus 21x plus 21. And we're going to, again, focus on our columns. So what do I have in common here? I end up with 3x in the top part. And I end up with just a positive 3 for this column. Now I'm going to use that math knowledge. I've got 3x. And what times 3x gives me 3x squared? I just need one more x here. 3x, what times 3x gives me 21x? That would be 7. And that's a positive 7. So I set it up like this. 3x plus 3 in one parentheses, and then x plus 7 in the other.